Merry Christmas! So, out doing the last of our farm chores for the day on the Monday after Christmas, and it is just around freezing or just above freezing, and it feels like spring compared to the last few days. I actually went and did half my farm chores in shorts and I didn't wear a jacket, which is insane. Most people wouldn't do that, but we're New Englanders. So compared to the last few days, which have been very cold, this feels so nice. So we're at the end of our farm chores, and I just kind of wanted to show you. See way back there? That's our well house. That's our new well house. We do not have enough money right now to be able to put in permanent watering systems and waterers, and so we're lucky that our property is only a little over 20 acres, and so our drive down to where the cows and the sheep are right now is about a quarter mile. So they've already grazed all this area, and you can see our hoses all rolled up because it was so cold that if we tried to run hoses out to where our cows and our sheep were, it may not even make it there before it froze, and it definitely would have frozen in the hoses. So that's been very tricky the last few days, and so our solution was just to, once we could drive our tractor out to where the animals were, we just loaded up a whole bunch of 5-gallon buckets of water with lids. So make sure you have lids, and that's what we brought out there. So we gave our sheep a larger paddock area. You probably can't see it, but they still are in an electric wire area. And so some of our waters are frozen solid like that. They just froze all the way through before we got a chance to use them. And then we have some that we've just been doing this too. So we unrolled hay for them, and then, hi Gussie, he's looking for water, but he actually did have some. The sheep don't drink as much, so they're actually a lot easier. You can see Sean carrying 2 5-gallon buckets over to where the cows are, so they're right beyond this fence. They have this whole wooded area to the other side and the front pasture. So they had some area to graze, and then they had plenty of hay available to them that we tried to give them wind breaks because it was just so cold, and they did fine. So you can kind of see him through the woods there dumping the 5-gallon buckets into their waterers on the other side. We put them on the other side of the woods because that is actually a sunnier area, and we thought at least for part of the day when it starts to warm up, it'll be the last spot to freeze. And so Gus always has his eyes glued on Daddy. He loves to greet all of us. So this is our solution. We just have like a garden tractor. We don't have a tractor or 4x4 or anything like that we could take more out, but we do have this tractor that has been indispensable to us, and we just fill up the buckets at our well house all the way to the top with water, and then we put lids on so it doesn't slosh around on our way out here. Hey babe. And I'm, as you can see, not being very helpful, keeping him company, right Sean?
What?
Keeping you company.
Yeah.
While you do all the work. So Sean's kind of like the one-man show. So he'll go out there and he'll bring about, what is that? 2, 4, 6, 8. So they'll probably get about 80 gallons right now. And they'll drink all of that or most of that. And then some will go to the sheep, although they do have some. We'll just put some in this smaller rubber tote, or this green one, and they don't drink as much. So if you're rotationally grazing sheep in the winter, they're a lot easier because you can just bring a couple of 10-gallon buckets out to them, depending on, of course, how many sheep you have. And they just don't need as much, but the cows do. And so that's been very tricky, just trying to get enough water to them. As people who are learning how to rotational graze, they did very well with just enough hay, a large enough paddock, an area with windbreaks, and the water was the big one. Here, actually, I'll walk over. And all the other animals did really well. The chickens, we moved the chicken tractors up close to the house. I'll do another video to kind of show you our winter setup. And they did great. And it's a lot easier having them closer to the house until spring. And we'll just be building compost using a deep litter method up there for the winter. And it seems like substantially warmer in their chicken tractors just by closing up the sides a bit.
Did good.
You did good. And then, so here's the cows, like the other side, so their water is out here. And they obviously don't need it as much because the last couple of days when we came out, they were like, as soon as they saw us, they'd come out running. But they're down eating. So what we did to make it a little bit easier for us to move posts when the grass was long, it did take us a little while to do this because we just mowed the area where we were going to be putting posts, so we didn't end up with an issue where the wires were sitting on long grass and not holding as much of a charge. So we did that wherever we were going to be. You can kind of see it through the field, putting paddocks in, and that did make it a lot easier. But the ground is frozen right now, so it will thaw up later on in the week and we'll move our fence posts. But if I had to choose and had the ability to invest in more wire reels and more of the white step-in posts, I would set them up just ahead of time whenever you have like a warmer time of the year where you can just get them into the ground easier. And then it's a lot easier to just have them already set up and just move the cows into the following paddock or the sheep into the following paddock. And personally, this is my personal experience, we are still, we have young animals that we're training to all these wires. I find it much easier to move the animals using the handle end, not the reel. So when we're moving them lately, we just go way down to the end where it is attached to our other fence, and I just move one of these white posts up against where the handles are, and I use it sort of like the end of a gate, and I just unhook all the handles and swing that whole area open. All the animals go into the next paddock, and then I just swing that gate closed and reclip those handles, and it's much, much, much easier, in my opinion, than trying to undo all the reels and do that. Both work, but that's just my personal opinion. And then if you cannot afford, that was also, I don't know if you saw what Sean just did. Can you just show me what you did again, Sean? This took me a few videos to see somebody do this, and it was such a simple thing. I was like, why did I not think to do that? To just step on the wire with your rubber boots, and you can just walk right over into the paddock. So go ahead, do it again. Don't trip on camera. And that's how we get from paddock to paddock, even when the electric fences are on. And what I was saying is, we have a few different reels here. So this is a Speed Right geared reel. I really do like how much easier it is to roll it up. It doesn't seem to take as long. There's a lot of things I like about it. Some things I don't like about it is that when you get any wire twisted around the ends. I don't know how to take the ends off to untwist it, so it's kind of like you have to do every it's labor intensive to untwist it. These ones are Speedrite reels that are the non-geared reels, so they're less expensive. They don't reel up as quickly, so if you have a large area, it's not as, I could see that would be a pain in the neck. However, I do like that if you happen to get it twisted, like right here, you can just pop these metal plates off and remove that whole twisted mess, and then just put it back on, and it's a lot easier to fix it. Those are probably almost half the price of the geared reels, but they're both quite an investment. So if you were looking to just get started inexpensively, you had a small flock, you really didn't want to invest a ton of money in the expensive reels, they are great, but you can get these. These are they are electric cord, like extension cord roll-ups, and they are much less expensive. So you can just get those, and they're a little bit clumsier, but they totally work. And then what we did is we use, see these spongy cords? So these are little bungee cords, and we feed them around, and then we just clip them on zip ties. And those are way less expensive. So if you wanted to get started rotational grazing, you're looking for something inexpensive, just getting the wire and using those electric cord reels. You can find them, I'm sure, at any like Home Depot or Lowe's or Menards or something, but you can also just order them on Amazon, and they are way less expensive. So that is one way to save some money to get started. And yeah, that's it. So this is how we're moving our water when it is super freezing and we don't have permanent waters. We just take our tractor, we fill up a whole bunch of 5-gallon buckets of water, and we bring like 80 to 100 gallons out to the field, and that seems to last them until the next time we can do it. So that's it. Hope you have a good day. Like, subscribe, and share to Full Family Farm. I'm going to go get in by a warm, cozy fire. Merry Christmas.